DaFAQ!
What? We've received another viewer question. Again, I forgot this person's name, but I remember being quite stoked about the way it sounded. They asked, what's the best way, apart from playing every day, to improve my shamisen skills? This is a fantastic question. Of course, there's many things you can do, scales, drills, more. But what's more important than a list of activities is knowing the right mental space to be in. What you learn is important, but how you learn will carry what you learn even further. I'll cover the how first, and then with that context, provide you with a list of skill-boosting activities to use with it. If you want to just skip over to the actionable items, you can jump on over to part 5. However, if you're planning on learning shamisen long term, I heartily suggest watching these parts in order. So here's my thoughts on how to learn based on my personal experience of how I learned. I had no real formal teachers nor any particular learning strategy. I started very young, and it was a very organic process. I just followed what I was interested in. And looking back on the past 20 years with shamisen, I can identify what was important and relay that here. While our brains all work differently and natural abilities differ and ways of learning differ, i.e. kinesthetic versus visual, etc., I do think the principles I'm about to cover do apply for a majority of people. Part 1. Keep your expectations low and trust you will get there. I definitely know the frustration. When you first begin your shamisen journey, you make gains quickly. First, you've never touched a shamisen. Then boom, you're holding a shamisen. Then boom, you learn a folk song. Then boom, boom, boom. It's a great word. I'm trying to bring it back. You learn the upstroke technique, the pull-off technique, the hammer-on technique. It's exciting to feel all the level ups. But after that, the next advancements are much subtler and take longer to achieve. For example, increasing accuracy in the bachi strikes, getting more nuance in upstrokes, achieving the nice fluid vibrato motion. The right instruction can get you in the right direction, but to a large degree, consistent practice over time is required for getting that instruction to soak in the body, as it were. Case in point, I used to practice karate, and in the first year or two, my instructor frequently talked about a technique called hip vibration, which is this quick back and forth motion in the hips used to generate power for the techniques. He explained it very well and very often. And while it made complete sense in my head, I just wasn't feeling it in my body. It just felt awkward. But then, in a year or two, it finally clicked. It was like my body reached a level of experience with the art, which brought a higher sense of awareness to a point where my body could process the technique. And then it became a part of me. And I believe that's the goal for all art. It just took time. Think about it this way as a general principle. Subtle techniques requires nuance. Nuance requires awareness. Awareness requires experience, and experience requires time with consistent practice. Whew. Because of that, it's so important to keep practice fun and engaging, which helps with consistency. Again, I know the feeling of being on a plateau with shamisen. I want improvement in my techniques. I see the things that can be improved, but it just isn't happening no matter how hard I work on them. And it's okay to feel that way. Know the things you want to improve, but as much as you can, avoid thoughts like, I should be better at this by now. Knowing what you want to improve will put you in the direction of improving. However, the expectation to improve just leads to impatience and demoralization, which is counterproductive. As much as you can, try to be in the moment. Enjoy the sound. Challenge yourself, but don't compare yourself to others. Observe other players. Observe as much as you can. Observation is one of the most fundamental ways humans have learned things. So observe them as much as you can. If their style inspires you, watch their hands and see if there's anything you can incorporate in your own playing. But as much as possible, avoid expecting to sound like another player. The way they sound is just as much a reflection of their personality as it is their years of experience. There is so much you can learn from them in terms of technique refinement and phrasing, but at some point you will realize that the goal of mastery is for the instrument, the art, to become a conduit for your personality, not the conduit of the personality of the famous player you're a fan of. Be in the moment, and assuming you practice consistently for 15 minutes a day for most days, know that you will get there, wherever there is.